Can a seemingly perfect marriage fall apart in an instant? The answer is a definite yes. I've lived through it myself, and now I feel ready to share my story. Emily and I go way back, literally since school. We were in parallel classes and lived next door to each other. What started as friendship eventually blossomed into love, and then something more. Naturally, we were each other's first love. She patiently waited for me to finish my time in the army. After that came university, and only then did we decide to get married. By the way, we paid for the wedding ourselves. We didn't ask our parents for anything. We lived life on our own terms, not planning to have children anytime soon. To be honest, the thought of diapers and baby clothes wasn't entirely attractive, at least not until we turned 30 or so, we thought. In the meantime, we were slowly saving up money for a down payment on a mortgage. However, when the time came, the bank refused us. So, we came up with a plan. The mortgage would be issued in my father's name, and once we paid it off, we'd transfer it to our name. To be honest, I felt lucky at that moment. Over time, things improved. Our incomes grew, and we didn't rush to pay off the mortgage early. We bought a car, then another. Since I worked for myself as a programmer, we kept most purchases in my parents' name to avoid raising any suspicions about our income. Why didn't we register things under Emily's family name? Well, her parents had passed away in a tragic accident. Their car skidded on a slippery highway and crashed into oncoming traffic. It was a devastating blow for both of us, and I mourned their loss as much as Emily did. It took a while, but eventually Emily managed to pull herself out of that dark place, and we nearly returned to a normal life. Emily and I never fought. We always worked things out calmly, without even minor household arguments. I used to joke sometimes, saying, "It gets a little too quiet around here." Then, out of nowhere, something happened that I still don't completely understand. Emily exploded, just like that, out of thin air. She had always gone to the supermarket alone, handling the shopping and loading groceries into the car by herself. I never had to carry heavy bags. Once we were home, I'd always bring everything inside. I didn't mind it. It worked for both of us. But that day, everything changed. "I could barely drive that car to the car," she shouted, her voice filled with frustration. "And those damn bags. I thought I was going to collapse from the weight." "Emily, please, just calm down," I said, reaching out to comfort her. But she pulled away, wiping angry tears from her eyes. "If you just called, I would have come. You could have figured it out yourself, just once in your life," she snapped, jumping to her feet and heading for the door. "Where are you going?" I asked, stunned. "I'm tired. I'm staying with Sarah for now," she said, her voice breaking as she grabbed her things. She paused for a moment at the doorway, then added, "And you?" She trailed off, leaving the apartment without another word. I stood there, dumbfounded. I had never felt so confused. She screamed at me for no reason and left the house over something so trivial. But deep down, I wasn't a fool. I knew it wasn't just about the groceries. Still, I didn't want to dig deeper into it at that moment. I thought, she'll calm down, and then she'll tell me what's really going on. A month went by, and she didn't call. At first, I tried everything, texts, calls, even reaching out to mutual friends, but Emily didn't pick up. By the third week, I gave up. The silence stretched on for another 2 weeks. Then, one day, Sarah showed up on my doorstep. The very same Sarah, Emily's best friend, who had been her refuge for the past 6 weeks. "Hey, Daniel," Sarah said, practically oozing through the door in a way that I couldn't help but notice. I had never been fond of Sarah, but today, something about her felt different. "What are you doing here? Did Emily send you?" I asked. "No," Sarah pouted, folding her arms. "Let's just say it's my own decision." She plopped down on the couch, casually draping one leg over the armrest in a way that felt almost too deliberate. "Sarah, just spit it out," I said, trying to stay patient. She hesitated, then suddenly stood up, walked over to me, and kissed me. Before I knew it, her hand was sliding down toward my pants. In that instant, I jumped back, my skin burning with shock. "Get out," I shouted, my voice shaking with anger. "What an idiot," Sarah exclaimed, throwing her hands up. "I was actually trying to save your marriage." "What are you talking about?" I demanded. She smiled, but it wasn't friendly. "Turns out Emily is not quite the angel you thought she was. After her parents passed, she needed a little boost, you know? So she joined a dating site, and well, one thing led to another. She can't even explain it, but now she's too embarrassed to face you. But hey, if you cheated too, maybe you could both start over, she added with a sly wink, grinning. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. So, what do you want me to do with that information? I asked, trying to process everything. Sarah's smile faded. From the top of the world, Daniel, she snapped. Kick her out and take all her stuff. Tell Emily she's not welcome here. Not in my place, I replied coldly. But this is her apartment too, Sarah said, trying to stay calm. No, I said firmly. This is my father's apartment, and the car she drives on dates. That's his too. So, you can leave the keys in the mailbox. And trust me, it's better if you don't show up here anymore. With that, I escorted Sarah out and slammed the door behind her. At first, I felt nothing at all. I had grown so accustomed to living without Emily that I didn't even notice the void anymore. Sure, during the time she was pulling away, I had those nagging thoughts. Could she really just leave? But I always pushed them aside. Now, my suspicions were confirmed. She was gone, and strangely, it made things feel a little lighter. The divorce was quick and painless. From a legal point of view, there was nothing to divide. Emily started bombarding my phone, trying to reach me, but I didn't answer. However, I wasn't about to give up the car. I had to threaten to report it as theft and made it clear I'd involve the police if necessary. Let her explain herself to them, I thought. Eventually, she threw the keys at me, muttering something about how I had let my wife roam the world. I just looked at her and said, "Honey, you left on your own." And that was it. That's how it happened. That's how it ended. Honestly, I never expected any of it. But what's done is done. Life doesn't stop here.